Hello my dear students, welcome back to Aditya Tutorials. I'm Rahul. Now in this video I'm going to discuss depression of freezing point. Well, we know that the vapor pressure of solution in the sense it should contain a non-volatile solute. The vapor pressure of the solution which contain a non-volatile solute is always less than the vapor pressure of pure solvent. I was explained the reason in the previous videos. The reason is the vapor pressure of the solution is less because the surface area in the solution is less, whereas in the pure solvent the surface area is large. In the solution, the surface area is occupied by some of the non-volatile solute, and by that the vaporization decreases. Whereas in the pure solvent, the surface area is occupied by only solvent molecules and they get evaporates. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a diagram or the graph to explain how the vapor pressure is related to the temperature. Along this axis, I will take as vapor pressure, and along this axis I will take temperature. Okay, we compare the vapor pressure variation with respect to temperature, and we take the two examples here. One is solution, another is one for pure solvent. Now assume this is a point where a particular temperature here have the solvent. This point is I mentioning for the solvent. As you decrease the temperature towards 0, the vapor pressure is also decreases. Okay. After that, I will take another example of solution. If I take a solution, we know that the vapor pressure of the solution is less than the vapor pressure of pure solvent. To make the same amount of vapor pressure, I will take this is a point. This is a point because I want to make the solution vapor pressure and pure solvent vapor pressure are equal, and for that I have to increase the temperature here. At somewhere at higher temperature, the vapor pressure of the solution exactly equal to vapor pressure of pure solvent. Listen carefully. At higher temperature, the vapor pressure of solution is exactly equal to vapor pressure of pure solvent. Because we know that the solution contains less surface area, and therefore it need more amount of energy to make vapor pressure exactly equal to vapor pressure of pure solvent. As you decrease the temperature, the vapor pressure of the solution is also decreases, like here. Now, whatever the curve is there for the first one, this is for liquid solvent. There is a smooth decrease in the vapor pressure or vapor. But at some point, the vapor suddenly drops. In this case, the liquid is frozen. Therefore, I write here frozen liquid. And I will take this one as point D. And here I will mention it is a C. And here it is E. And this point extends to a point A. Okay. So now, I will extend it towards the temperature. At this temperature, I will mention it is a TB or TF I will take. I will take it as a TF. And this one, I will extend towards the temperature. And I will mention it as a TF naught. You just observe carefully the variation of vapor pressure of pure solvent and the solution of non-volatile solute in it is a function of temperature, right? As you increase the temperature, the vapor pressure is increasing. As you decrease the temperature, vapor pressure is decreasing. The vapor pressure of solution, this is for the vapor pressure of solution. I write here, this is solution. The vapor pressure of solution of non-volatile solute is in volatile solvent is always lower than, see, it is lower than the liquid solvent or the pure solvent at given temperature. A liquid freezes at a temperature. This is very important, student. Any liquid freezes. A liquid freezes at a particular temperature. Okay, freezes at a temperature. This condition is quite important for us. When vapor pressure of the solid solvent becomes equals to vapor pressure of liquid solvent. Okay, and then only the liquid freezes when vapor pressure of solid solvent become exactly equal to vapor pressure of liquid solvent. We know that the solid have a lower vaporization, or almost they have zero vaporization. If the any substance having zero vaporization or vapor, then it is in the form of solid. Okay, as a result, the freezing point of the solution is lower than that of the pure solvent. Okay, students, assume that here in this case T naught F is the freezing point. It is freezing point of the solvent. Okay, then Tf is freezing point of the solution. Remember, it should contain non-volatile solute. After that, if I want that how much freezing point is changed, the difference in the freezing point is given by delta Tf, that is equal to T naught F minus Tf. This is the difference in the freezing point. Okay, this temperature, this is a change in the temperature of freezing point, is known as depression of freezing point. Okay, now assume that depression of freezing point of dilute solutions. This is for dilute solutions. What we have here, that so delta Tf, that is depression of freezing point, is directly proportional to molality, means the amount of non-volatile solute is dissolved in a solvent, that directly affect the change in the freezing point. Or we have here delta Tf is equal to Kf into m, where Kf, here I am going to write Kf is a constant, and this constant is called as freezing point depression constant. Depression constant, and sometimes it is referred as molar depression constant. Or generally it have a older name, it is called as cryoscopic constant. Okay, now move to the next part. We have to define the Kf. Kf is equal to delta Tf only when molality of the solution is equal to 1 or unity. So what is the meaning of this? Molality is 1 means it is 1 mole of non-volatile solute present in 1000 grams of solvent. So you can define it. The molar depression constant of a solvent is the depression of freezing point. This is here. This is a molar depression constant, and it is a depression of freezing point. Therefore, we can define it. The molar depression constant of a solvent is equals to depression of freezing point caused by dissolving 1 mole of non-volatile solute in 1000 gram of solvent. Okay, and for that Kf can be given as the delta T divided by molality, and therefore the unit become here Kelvin kg per mole. Kelvin kg per mole is the unit for the molar depression constant. Okay, now we know about the molality. The molality is given by number of moles divided by, yes, mass of the solvent. Mass of the solvent. And this can be elaborated as, assume that I will take here, that is NB divided by, instead of M I will take here, okay, this I will convert into W, it will be easy, WA. Okay, so NB is number of moles of solute, and WA is mass of solvent, that should be in the kg. And for that, we know that the number of moles of solute can be calculated by NB is equal to given weight of the solute divided by molecular weight of the solute, and WA, that should be in the kg. If it is given in the grams, then given weight of the WA divided by 1000. It is a given weight. Okay, and by that I going to rewrite the equation. We know that delta T F is equal to Kf. Instead of writing the molality, I am going to write here this formula, or I will write W B divided by MB into 1000 divided by WA. This WA is weight of solvent in, that should be in the gram, and to convert into kg you have to multiply with the, divide with the 1000, right? And therefore we get here MB is equal to, that is we have here 1000 into Kf into WB, and that should be divided by WA into delta TF. This is the formula we use for the calculation of molecular mass dissolved in the solvent, a given amount of solvent. Okay students, we should know some values here. For the water, the freezing point of the water, that is freezing point, it is given by around 273.15 Kelvin. Okay, and here the Kf, that is molar depression constant, or freezing point constant, that is 1.86. Similarly, we can remember one for the benzene. The benzene freezing point for benzene, its freezing point is 278.6, but the constant is 5.12 Kelvin. Okay, so even you can remember for many of such solvents, for example, ethanol having the constant is 1.99. That is, I'm going to write here ethanol. The freezing point for the ethanol is 155.7 Kelvin, and its depression constant is 1.99. Okay, so now we're going to solve one problem on the molar depression constant to understand the concept. Okay, here is a question given. Addition of 0.643 gram of a compound to 50 ml of benzene. The density of the benzene is given here. The lowers the freezing point from 278.66 Kelvin to 278.18 Kelvin. And given that Kf is 5.12 Kelvin kg per mole, calculate the molar mass of the compound. Such questions you get generally in your examination. So how to solve this? So as we calculated the molecular mass formula in the previous section, the same formula I'm going to repeat here. That is MB is equal to 1000. That should be multiplied by Kf, and again that multiplied by mass of the solute taken divided by the mass of the solvent multiplied by change in the temperature, or depression in freezing point. Now, so we need here the WA, that is weight of solvent, and we that calculated from the formula, that is volume into density, because here they are given only the ml of benzene is given. This is a solvent in this case, and the density is given. But actually in this formula we have here weight. From the volume and density we can convert that into weight. So therefore it is a 50 ml, and that should be multiplied with the density, that is 0.879, and that is equal to 43.95 grams. Okay, let's move to the next part. Delta TF is quite interesting for us. Many times we think that this is like a elevation in boiling point, but it is not. It is somewhat reverse. So in this case we have, that is the 278.66, it is actual temperature, and when you add a solute, its temperature freezing point changes to 278.18. It is decreased. So therefore larger value should be written first here, and therefore 278.66 minus, we get here lower value 278.18, and the difference we get here around, that is okay, it is 0.48 Kelvin. This is the temperature. Now move to this formula, that is MB is equal to 1000 as it is into KF value it is given, that is 5.12, and that again multiplied by the WB. This is added the mass of the solute, that is 0.643, and that is again divided by WA. We calculate WA, that is 43.95 grams, and that should be multiplied by delta TF. So we calculated here, that is 0.48, and then we get here 156.1 grams per mole. This is the molecular mass of the solute which is added to a 50 ml of benzene, and by that the freezing point of benzene changes from 278.66 Kelvin to 278.18 Kelvin. Okay, hope you understood this problem, students. Okay students, so now I'm going to discuss the next concept, that is osmosis. A very beautiful concept it is, and this concept I'm going to explain using the vapor pressure. Okay, so in the many of the textbook they are not relating the osmosis with vapor pressure, but now I'm going to explain the osmosis with respect to vapor pressure. Okay, so for that I need a container. So that is, so here a container is there. I will take a little bit large container. Okay, this is a container, and this container containing some other partition here, and this partition is made by semi-permeable membrane. Here it is. This is a semi-permeable membrane. I'm going to write here, this is SM, semi-permeable membrane. And you know that the semi-permeable membrane allows only here a solvent molecule, not a solute particles. Okay, allows only, I will write here, allow only solvent, not a solute. Okay, now in this I'm going to fill the water, and the both the side there is equal level of water. After that I will close the container. I just close the container here. Now at the initial level, the surface area of the water here, it is same. Therefore there is equal number of vapor molecules. So here there is equal number of vapor molecules, and they are producing equal amount of vapor pressure. Say this is a compartment number 1 and this is 2. In the both the compartment the vapor pressure is same. Now what I will do, I will take a solute in the compartment number 2. So in this I am going to add a solute, particularly non-volatile solute. Okay, now what happened? So here the surface of the water or the liquid is occupied by some of non-volatile solutes. They are present inside also, but some molecules may present at the surface. Here I am going to write one more. Now look at the surface area. In both the case, the surface area in the compartment number 1 is large because here only the liquid molecules are there. But in this case, the surface area is reduced because surface area is occupied by non-volatile solute particles. Only this is a portion of the liquid is remained here, and from that vaporization takes place. And with a longer exposure to the time, so what happens here? The vapor pressure at compartment number 1 is more because there is more vaporization due to greater surface area as compared to compartment number 2. Only here a few molecules are there and they are producing vapor pressure less here. So therefore I am going to write here in the compartment number 1 the vapor pressure I am going to write here 1, which is greater than vapor pressure in the compartment number 2. That is here. Here is the vapor pressure is less due to less amount of vapor is present here. Now what happens? These vapors in the compartment number 1 exert a pressure on the wall of the container and on the surface. And by that what happens? The liquid move downwards and there is no space. Therefore, the liquid flows through a semi-permeable membrane to the compartment number 2. And by that there is a rise in the liquid level in the compartment number 2. This is the second level. Okay. So at certain point it stops. It stops only when the vapor pressure in the compartment number 1 is equal to vapor pressure in the compartment number 2. Then the process of flow of solvent molecule from first compartment to second compartment stops. And during that process the level of the liquid rises in the compartment number 2. You can call this compartment number 1 is as the solvent and second one is called as solution. I am going to term it in the different terms. Solvent, in this the concentration of non-volatile solute is almost 0. Okay, compared to the compartment number 2, this is a low concentration and it is high concentration. So there are solvent molecules are moving from low concentration to high concentration through semi-permeable membrane. Therefore, we can make a statement: the flow of solvent from lower concentration to higher concentration, or the flow of solvent into solution through semi-permeable membrane. Membrane is known as osmosis. Is called as or is known as osmosis. Hope you understood this concept. Okay, we'll move to the next part. We'll see some of the examples related to the osmosis. Now the first example is very interesting. That is, when you take a container and okay, I will take two containers. In the first container, I will take the pure water or fresh water. And the second container, I am going to use the brine solution. So this is brine solution. And this is pure water or fresh water. Okay, now in this I am going to add a blood cell. There is a blood cell now. In both the compartment there is equal sized blood cell is there. After a certain time, in the fresh water, the blood cell swells and become larger here. But in the brine solution, the blood cell shrinks. It becomes smaller. It becomes smaller here. The size of the blood cell shrinks. So what is the reason behind this? Why it is happening so? So in the fresh water, you can see that it is a low concentration of non-volatile solute. Okay, so what is the meaning of low concentration of non-volatile solute? See, in this blood cell, there are protein molecules are there, and protein molecules are non-volatile. Okay, the concentration in the blood cell is higher compared to in the fresh water. Here in the blood cell, the proteins and other minerals and salts are more. Therefore, it is having high concentration of non-volatile solute. And therefore, the vapor pressure in the fresh water is higher as compared to in the blood cell. Because this container is sealed because there is a 1 atm atmospheric pressure is there at the outside. Therefore, the constant atmospheric pressure is there. Compared to that, the vapor pressure of the fresh water is more as compared to the inside the blood cell. Therefore, the fresh water move inside the blood cell through the semi-permeable membrane. That is a cell membrane. And therefore, blood cell swells here, become larger in size. Come to the second part. So brine solution is nothing but a 10% of sodium chloride solution. 10% of sodium chloride solution. So in this, what happens? The concentration of this brine solution is higher. This is high concentration of non-volatile solute. Solute in the case we have here sodium chloride. But in this blood, there are some protein molecules are there, but compared to the brine solution, it having a low concentration. Non-volatile solute. Okay. And therefore, whatever the concentration is here, it is a low concentration. Therefore, the vapor pressure in the blood cell is less as compared to, the vapor pressure in the blood cell is high. I'm going to write vapor pressure is high here. Where there is a low concentration is there, vapor pressure should be high. So therefore, whatever the solvent is there inside the blood, a liquid is there, water molecules are there, they are moving outside the blood cell. And by that, the blood cell shrinks, becomes smaller. Okay. So therefore, in the both observation, in the fresh water, the blood cell swells, and in the brine solution, the blood cell shrinks, becomes smaller. I'll give one more example. In your home, you can see that if there is a container and containing salt water, if you put here a mango piece, raw mango piece, you will find that after a certain time it becomes a smaller. That is, raw mangoes shrivel when pickled in a brine. जब हम पिकल करने के लिए रखेंगे तो मैंगो जो रहेगा उसका पीस जो रहेगा इट बिकम स्मॉल, क्योंकि उसके अंदर से वाटर जो रहेगा निकल के बाहर जाएगा तो वो ड्राई बनेगा यहाँ पे. तो और एक यहाँ पे एग्जांपल है. तो यू कैन टेक अ वाटर इन अ कंटेनर, ओनली वाटर यू हैव टू टेक, एंड यू हैव टू ऐड अ पल्सेस. Okay, here you have to add pulse. So what happens when you put a pulse in a water? After a certain time, it become a larger in size. पहले तो इतना था, तो बाद में इतना बढ़ेगा. तो इसका मतलब क्या है यहाँ पे? The water is moving inside the pulse. So by that it is swelling. So concentration difference रहने की वजह से, तो it is happening so. So hope you understood the concept of the osmosis, how it is affected to the flow of solvent molecules. And this can be explained only on the vapor pressure. And most of the textbooks skip this idea that explaining the osmosis on the basis of vapor pressure. Okay, students. Okay, let's move to the next part, that is osmotic pressure. That we're going to discuss in the next video.